Imagine stepping into the winding streets of medieval Paris, where candlelit windows flicker against cobblestones and the great cathedral of Notre Dame looms like a stone sentinel over the Seine. Victor Hugo's 1831 masterpiece, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, is far more than a tragic love story. It's a Gothic kaleidoscope of architecture, politics, and the raw ache of outsiders longing to belong. When first published, the novel sparked a cultural crusade to preserve France's crumbling cathedrals, single-handedly jump-starting the 19th-century restoration movement. Its impact reverberates today in every tourist's gasp beneath those soaring buttresses. Hugo braids sweeping romance with scathing social critique, Quasimodo, the bell-ringer whose body is twisted but whose heart rings true, Esmeralda, the free-spirited dancer who ignites compassion and obsession in equal measure, Frollo, the austere archdeacon torn between duty and desire. At its core, the novel asks a timeless question: who decides who is worthy of love, dignity, and sanctuary? And that's where you come in. Think back to a moment you felt judged, maybe at a crowded party or scrolling through perfect images on social media, when you wondered if anyone saw the real you beneath the surface. Hugo grabs that feeling of being misseen and magnifies it through gargoyles, bells, and narrow medieval alleyways, until we're forced to confront our own snap judgments. So, grab a virtual torch and follow me into the shadowed nave. The bells are about to ring, and every clang will shake loose a new revelation about who we are, and who we could become. Notre Dame isn't merely a setting, it's a living character, towering, indifferent, and patient enough to outlast kings. Hugo uses its vast stone walls to shrink us down to size, reminding us that the dramas of humankind flutter like sparrows against centuries of weathered gargoyles. From the topmost spire, Paris looks miniature, and Earth itself feels like a precarious perch in the cosmic void, echoing our own quiet suspicions that the universe barely notices us. Yet humans never tire of declaring themselves center stage. The Parisians gawking at Quasimodo's deformity embody our collective arrogance: if something looks different, it must be wrong. Hugo's genius is to reveal the absurdity of that certainty. One minute, a crowd hails Esmeralda as an angel, the next, it's ready to burn her as a witch. The line between adoration and condemnation is thinner than parchment. As the novel unfolds, fate weaves a tangled web. Quasimodo owes his life to Frollo, Frollo's obsession seals Esmeralda's doom, and a single swing of a bell rope can tilt destiny. Amid these grand gears turning, Hugo nudges us: what if the judgments we defend so fiercely are built on sand? The cathedral endures, unmoved, yet the people orbiting it scramble for moral high ground, never realizing the stones neither praise nor condemn them. Every major character quests for purpose against a backdrop of indifference. Quasimodo strains to trade ridicule for acceptance, Esmeralda dreams of freedom and fairness, Frollo, trapped in his own dogma, tries to wrestle desire into submission. Their collisions ask us, when society offers no mercy, where do we look for meaning? Hugo flips expectations. The novel's purest act of love isn't a knight's gallantry but a disfigured bell-ringer cradling a condemned girl inside cathedral walls. Beauty blossoms in the most unexpected soil, while polished leaders reveal rotting cores. The stark irony lands when we realize that those labeled monstrous often carry the gentlest souls, an insight that humbles any tidy moral calculus. We're reminded of Quasimodo's haunting question: why was I not made of stone like thee? In a harsher world, stone feels safer than flesh. But flesh can feel, and that vulnerability is where meaning hides. Compassion sparks in the cracks, between strokes of a bell, between final heartbeats, and within those fragile instants, we glimpse the sanctuary we've searched for beyond stone walls. So, if our own era sometimes feels merciless, algorithms rating our worth, headlines shouting calamity, Hugo offers an antidote: let kindness grow where judgment withers. In that small act, we tip the cosmic scales towards significance. When Esmeralda faces execution and crowds gather like storm clouds, Hugo forces us to witness, no cinematic shortcuts, no poetic fade-outs. Pain is real, and so is injustice. Yet within that darkness, the novel insists on empathy as our lantern. Quasimodo literally swings on a bell rope to rescue Esmeralda, screaming sanctuary. Across the square, a cry that flares brighter precisely because the odds are so bleak. Fast forward to today, migrant families seeking refuge, people shamed for their appearance, online mobs quick to cancel without context. The faces change, but the scaffold remains. Hugo's 19th century Paris is a mirror we still stand before, asked whether we'll gawk or intervene. And humor, dark, occasionally irreverent, becomes a pressure valve. By making us laugh at society's hypocrisy, Hugo grants us the relief we need to stay in the uncomfortable moment and, perhaps, change it. Compassion, then, is not naive optimism. It's an act of rebellion. It dismantles the convenient us versus them, inviting us to imagine a city square where nobody is left dangling at the noose of public opinion. In your own life, that might mean defending someone in a comment thread, amplifying marginalized voices, or simply refusing to share the latest viral takedown. Each act says, I see your humanity, even when the crowd sees only a spectacle. By the final page, Notre Dame still stands, but its bells carry a different resonance. Hugo leaves us with a stark truth: societies are measured not by their monuments but by their mercy. Acceptance, not architecture, is the true cathedral. So, what can we do with that wisdom? First, look past appearances, whether it's a co-worker's awkward silence or a stranger's accent. Let curiosity outrun judgment. Second, search for beauty in unlikely places: a cracked statue, a weathered face, a hesitant voice. You might find a note of music no pristine bell ever rang. Third, remember that destiny isn't just written in stone, it's etched each time we choose empathy over indifference. The next time you pass a literal or figurative cathedral, any structure of tradition or prejudice, ask yourself which bells you're willing to ring. Ring them for inclusion, for the misjudged, for the kid hiding in the corner of the schoolyard or the adult hiding behind a screen. Ring them for the Quasimodos, the Esmeraldas, and yes, even the Frollos who might yet be redeemed by a single resonant note. What books would you like to learn more about next? Let us know in the comments. Happy learning!